Do you want to save money on a cruise? If so, this is the video for you coming up. In this video, we are going to share with you some great tips on how to save money on a cruise. We've got about 25 we're going to share with you. But if you're with us for the first time, my name is Jason, and this is Kelly, and this is the Summit Push. And on this channel, we are all about helping you to have the best travel experience possible. But we are going to dive right into these tips. So Kelly, you kick us off.
Yeah, one of my absolute favorite tips to save money on your cruise is to use discounted gift cards. You can save about 10%, which is basically free money. It's great.
Yeah, and you know, whenever you first book a cruise, you really only have to put down a deposit on the front end, and then you generally don't have to pay off the cruise till as you're approaching the time for your sailing. So that's a time after you pay that deposit to begin looking. So when you find those gift cards out there, you can use those to begin to pay off. And you may only save, 4 or 5% here and there, but hey, every little bit counts.
Yes, and if you want to know specific websites where you can go and get those discounted gift cards, check out our link below. We have a Facebook group. We've got all that information there. So make sure you request to join our group.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Here's the next tip. Next tip is consider booking an inside cabin. And a big key with that is they are always the cheapest rooms. A lot of times you'll get better sleep too because you don't have the windows. And for us anyway, we don't spend a lot of time in our rooms other than sleeping. And I know that's so cliche and stuff, but it's a reality. We want to be out and enjoying that time out on the deck and the beautiful sights. But here's a tip with booking the inside cabin. When you're going through the process of booking your room, even if you want another room, an ocean view or a balcony, sometimes it's good to start your process with the inside cabin room, and what you'll see is an opportunity for an upgrade as they're trying to upsell you during that process. That's a trick a lot of travel agents will use, and a lot of times getting the upgrade in that process is cheaper than if you would have booked that higher level room at the very beginning.
Yeah, that's an excellent tip. And another tip, if you want to save money, is just skip the internet package when you're on your cruise because it is very, very pricey on some ships.
Yeah, it is. And here's another tip that sort of piggybacks on that a little bit is, check the internet when you're at port. If you're on a 5-day cruise, you're only going to have a day or two that is truly at sea, completely away from any port or your home departure port or station. And when you go to these ports, there's always going to be somewhere where you can get free internet. So if you could literally push it away for 1 or 2 days on a 5-day or even a 7-day, it's usually only 1 or 2 days, then you save a ton of money because that's a huge markups with that one.
Yeah, and also if you want to look at sailing on one of the older ships, a lot of times the older ships don't have all the amenities that some of the newer, bigger ships have. So a lot of times they will be quite a bit less in price.
Yeah, and it's not that you go into the sites and you're like, hey, I'm looking for an older ship. But the reality is when you find the lowest priced cruises, generally they are the older ships. So, hey, we've done that. A lot of times we still have a blast.
And they're just as fun.
We have never been on a cruise ship that we didn't have such a wonderful time. But, like many things in life, it is what you make of it,
That's
right?
That's
so
right.
That's key. Here's another thing. You can save big money by cruising during off-peak times. Do we ever do that?
Always.
And you say, well, when are off-season times? Well, spring break's not good, right? And summertime can be really busy. But if you wait till the fall time, whenever school's starting back, we homeschool, so we have that option, and you can get it cheap. Also, after Thanksgiving and up to a few weeks into December is a lot of times you can get deals too. Reason for that is people will do holiday sailings, but after Thanksgiving, they're already looking forward to Christmas and everything. And so you got a few weeks there where you can get some really good prices on cruises.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that you want to keep in mind is you can either book your cruise really early or you can book it late. A lot of times you'll find absolutely great deals if you have the flexibility to schedule that last minute cruise.
Yeah, so that's huge. Another thing is this is a little bit more rare, but if you can find a repositioning cruise, they are dirt cheap. And by that, if you're a first-time cruiser or not new to the industry, that's whenever a ship is repositioning to a new port. For example, in January of next year, the Royal Caribbean's Majesty of the Seas is repositioning over to New Orleans, I believe it is. Yeah. So if you begin watching, you can find that one that goes down to the Caribbean, then comes back to New Orleans. Very, very cheap. So watch for those kind of cruises as well.
Yes, and also as far as travel insurance goes, It's great to have some travel insurance, but your best price may not be through the cruise line. You might want to look with outside sources to book travel insurance.
And then another tip is be sure that you call the cruise line if you see that the cruise price has went down after you have booked. If you do that, they will reduce the prices and help you out a lot with that. Now, here's a website. Let me give this to you. It's not a sponsored thing, anything like that. It's just what we use, and we want to pass on those tips. It's vacationstogo.com, vacationstogo.com. And that is just a good sort of search engine. I'm sure there's other sites, maybe even better sites. But if you look at the upper left of this, you can really search down departure dates, cruise lines, where you want to go, all of that. It pulls up like a spreadsheet type format. You can click on our starting price, and for whatever you're looking for, it will rank them. And that is a really good starting point to find out what's out there that's cheap, or if something drops in pricing. So.
Yeah, and also along with that, we also use an app called Shipmate. And on that app, you can actually go in and select your specific cruise, and it will actually send you an email if that price drops. So that's a great tool to have.
Yeah, and all that, again, that none of this is sponsored. We're just trying to share stuff to help you. And if you're getting any value out of these tips, be sure to hit that like button.
Yeah, another great tip is, avoid the casino. Not really sure what else to say about that one.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you enjoy that, but look, here's the reality. How many times do you actually win on that? And I don't know, we're just thinking, we're putting together tips that you're probably going to have more money in your pocket at the end of the cruise if you avoid it. But if you're a big casino lover, hey, no hating. We're just sharing our point of view on this one.
Yes.
Moving on. Hey, another thing, this is a big thing for us. Almost every cruise we book is the tip is use credit card points when you are booking your travel or to help get you savings after you've booked. Go ahead and we can share more on that.
Well, there's just so many great travel cards out there, and so often if you open a new account, they will give you, $500 free money, basically, if you spend a certain amount in a certain amount of time. But we always believe in paying off the balance at the end of every month. So you never carry a balance, but travel reward cards are fabulous and will help you save a lot of money.
Yeah, we just sailed on Carnival back in April, and truly we did that, and a lot of the other tips we're sharing, and we ended up paying literally $0 for that cruise. So anyway, that's definitely one to look at.
Yes. So here's another tip. Go ahead and sign up for packages that you want before you get on the cruise. So oftentimes, for example, if you do want the Wi-Fi package, if you buy it before you get on the cruise, they'll give you a little bit of a discount.
Yeah, and a lot of those packages, it basically comes down to a lot of times maybe a few bucks a day is what you're going to save if you get the drink package beforehand or the Wi-Fi, all this different stuff. But again, every little bit counts. If you know you're going to use it, then you can save money by taking that approach. So that's definitely good stuff.
Yeah, and that actually goes with port parking as well. Oftentimes, if you book your port parking before you actually get to the port, you'll be able to save a little bit of money with that as well.
And that segues into the next thing, and that is you can also save money with your parking by parking at independent lots. A lot of times the cruise terminals will have their parking, but if you go a little bit further away, then you can get it for a little bit cheaper. And again, simple little shuttle ride, and it's not a big delay there, but you can save some money.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you love to shop, make sure that when you're on...
No shopping. No shopping.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. But if you do love to shop, wait until the ship offers their sales, because they will offer sales at different times and on different things. So just wait, pay attention. It's usually in your daily handout, and it'll save you a little bit of money.
If you got the souvenir that you love and you spot it, or your kids do, and it's not marked down, then you wait, it will come down and you'll be able to get that and save some money. So just big power tip there for you.
Yeah, and can I add one more thing about that?
Why, sure. Go ahead.
Research the ports of call that you're going to and identify which one generally you can get. Like, there's just certain souvenir type things, that we all like to buy, the t-shirts or the picture frames or the coffee mugs. There's certain ports that you're going to get those basic things for a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And so if you identify that port, like, okay, this is the port that I want to make sure and get all my souvenirs, that's a great tip.
Yeah, and goes along with this, and none of this is what we had planned, but we're just pulling stuff out right here, just trying to share information. But if you forget something, and that happens to all of us, if you can wait a day or two till you get to a port, generally speaking, you're going to be able to find it cheaper at that port, even if it's basic hygiene items, whatever it may be, than what you could get on the ship. So that's definitely something you can do as well. Next one is this: skip specialty dining, and if you love it, go for it. But what I'm saying is, if you want to save some money, it's a little pricey, and the reality is the food at the dining rooms and stuff, there's usually just such great food. You can have new food almost every single meal, trying new things. It's just delicious without doing the specialty dining. If you want it, go for it, but you can save some money if you skip it.
Yeah, and absolutely, if you do want it, go ahead and visit that specialty dining on the very first night, because oftentimes that will be when those meals are discounted.
Yeah, and the way you can find out about that is check your day one itinerary that will be in your room when you arrive. And a lot of times you can get specialty dining on night number 1 for as much as 50% off, because this is supply and demand. So they're just trying to draw people over to that. So definitely check that out. Here's another one with the specialty dining. If you have a restaurant you're really wanting to eat at, consider eating there for lunch as opposed to dinner. Dinner times will be packed many times in specialty dining, but lunch not so much. So again, it is supply and demand. Lunchtime you can get anywhere from 25 to 40% cheaper by eating there during the lunch hours.
Yeah, and speaking of food, we're just going to keep rolling, because when you get to port, try to go ahead and eat your breakfast or lunch or whatever on the ship. So have full bellies before you get off the port, and that way you won't be like, oh, we need to find somewhere to eat as soon as we get to our port of call.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hey, if you got, especially with a family size, if you're able to hold off on maybe one meal out there, you could save, $30-40 while you're at port. And all of that adds up. All of these things adds up. Tons
absolutely.
of little tips. But we're talking, if you follow these tips, you're talking saving hundreds of dollars. So that's pretty huge. Here's another thing with that time when you're at port. If you have some luxury item that you're wanting to do on the ship, like, for example, you want to go to the spa or something like that, during port days, if there's nothing really attractive to you at port, that's the time to schedule that. Again, supply and demand. They have a lot of openings, and you can get those spa treatments and stuff at a super discounted price if you can do that. So that's a great option.
Yes, and another tip is, if you want to save some money, look at booking your shore excursion through an outside company aside from the cruise line. Oftentimes you will find better deals going through an outside source.
Yeah, and a lot of times cruise lines will say that they will match the prices and stuff like that. But, a lot of times you may not discover them until you're out there unless you book it in advance. And, it's sort of tough going back, and this is what I found. But we always find cheaper prices, it seems like.
Yeah, and I will note, Carnival recently, they have started a price matching. So if you book an excursion that is, through an outside source, and that excursion is the exact same as what Carnival offers, they will price match 110%. And that difference will go on your card. So
that's worth researching just to see if you can get that kind of savings in. So that's pretty awesome. Another thing with the shore excursions is maybe you look to find one that offers food and drinks. If you're a first-time cruiser, know that a lot of the excursions do. They'll say, hey, we'll do this, and then we'll have this open buffet. And so if you know that's going to be an additional cost that you're going to have when you're out there for many hours at this port, then see if you could find an excursion that also ties that in. Otherwise, make sure you figure in the additional cost you're going to have for that food and drink.
Yeah, because you are going to get really hungry when you're on some of those excursions,
Absolutely.
for sure.
That heat's just bearing down for sure.
So here's another tip. When you get to port, skip the excursions altogether and just walk around the town, discover the culture, meet people, shop, go to the beach. There's all different kinds of things that you can do without actually having to take an excursion.
Yeah, and we've had some of the best times with our families doing exactly that. We'll get off the ship. We'll do a little shopping around with the souvenirs. We'll get a taxi ride or something, or sometimes it's really close by. Go to the beach, enjoy a nice day and a beautiful beach, and we just have just a super time and end up coming back spending almost nothing. We get really hungry, we head back to the ship. So save a lot of money that way. And then our next tip with this, consider booking your next cruise with a travel agent. And here's why I say that. I think we've gotten a day to where we think that travel agencies is old school and not really needed anymore. But you can get a lot of value, and actually you can save some money that way. Let me tell you how. Here's what I would recommend. If you know a cruise that you want to go on and you find it and you discover it, before you book it, call your local travel agent and let them know, hey, here's the cruise that I want. Here's the price that I found. And then they'll do the work for you to see whether they can match it or whether they can beat that. If they can beat it, hey, you just saved money. If they can match it, if you end up going through them as opposed to just booking however you normally would, you're going to get a lot of benefit that way. And here's why. You're not going to be checking, for example, to see if the prices drop and you're going to be able to save some more money. But guess what? The travel agents is looking at cruises all the time. And if they notice that drops, they're going to be able to get you that reduced price back, and you're going to save that money because they want you to continue to come back to them. Another thing with a travel agent, it's not going to cost you any more. If you have to pay extra money to a travel agent, then you don't want to use them. So some will charge like $15 for their service, but the vast majority of travel agents don't charge you any additional fee. And what you end up getting, you get someone that's going to handle the hassle for you. If you have some sort of issue or something else, the travel agent has got a lot of credibility and collateral with the cruise lines, and they're going to be able to get some things arranged, get some of your problems solved and stuff like that adds you a lot of value. Maybe even some upgrades they can get you because they're available to them that you would never see.
Yeah, I was actually going to say a lot of times what you'll see, with the travel agents is that you can get, maybe an extra $50 of onboard credit, or, you can get something extra usually can come along with your package when you use a travel agent.
Yeah, so you have nothing to lose with contacting travel agents to see how they can help or what they can do to beat you. So definitely we need to begin revisiting that option.
Our next tip is to cruise more. I know that sounds funny, but every cruise line has customer loyalty programs. So the more you cruise, the more points you get, and those points turn into discount when you book your rooms.
Yeah, so every tier that they have, based upon the number of nights you have selling, you get different things that are available to you that's made free. And also with that, even without cruising more, I would encourage everyone to join the member loyalty program. It's free, costs you nothing. And even if you don't sell very often, even if you only sell every few years or something like that, every bit of that adds up. And you may show up for your next cruise a couple years down the road and you find out that you get some free bottled water, you get a few other free perks. And so, hey, it's a free service to you. Sign up, and you never know the free stuff you'll be able to get through that. Again, if you are getting any value out of these tips, make sure you hit that like button. Also, subscribe and hit the bell icon to make sure you get all of our latest videos coming out. On this channel, we're looking to give you the best travel experience possible, helping you save money, helping you discover new options. Thank you for watching. God bless you, and have a good day.